So I decided to do something a little different and go live today. Not because I'm magically an expert on going live, definitely not, but because I noticed that I love watching a good live with the people that I follow. So if I love to watch it, I might as well try it out, make it happen. The main thing that I keep seeing resonate throughout life right now is about mothering. I have 4 kids. I've been a mom for a really long time. Like, my oldest is 17, almost 18. So I know a couple things about mothering, but that's not really the type of mothering that I'm talking about. Okay, enough standing. I want to have a seat and be comfortable. So, with mothering, we know those stages, the diapers. People warn you about the diapers. They warn you about all kinds of things, but they don't warn you about the burnout and they don't warn you about the aftermath. Or at least I feel like I was not warned. So I know a lot of moms throughout time. There's been times when I was a single mom and watched moms do things a certain way. I have a mom, I have a mother-in-law. Like, there are a lot of moms around me, and I feel like there is so much to learn from those other people, but especially the people that are a little further along in the journey than I am. And that's always been the case. When I was a mom at 19, I had a really good friend who was like 31. And the gold she gave me, the little simple things like, honey, when she takes a nap, you take a nap. I'm like, what? Like, I thought that's when I'm supposed to clean and mop. No, like, when your baby is napping, you nap for sure. Or, as they get older and nap longer, maybe get in the workout or the things that are hard to do when they're awake. Yes, absolutely. But when they're a new little baby and you are sleep deprived, get your sleep however you can, period. But thing is, beyond that, beyond those little toddler stages, there's so many gaps that I feel like we're not filled in. And I read a lot. I will find any book anywhere and read it. I love free books. I am the person who will stop at the little, I don't know, they like kind of look like a house. Like, I will totally stop and look through those little book nooks and see if there's some gold, because I'm telling you, I have found so much gold in the most random places. I'm not one of those readers who discriminates. Oh, hello, in India, that's awesome. Very cool. I have read some really good books from authors in India too, I will say that. Yeah, I have found so many great books in random places, and I will read about anything. But this is one area that I just don't feel like there's a lot to find. There's not a lot of research out there. Well, whatever is out there, I feel like I've exhausted. I've made myself such a random, expert in a space that's so, like, it's just a piece here or there. Like, I might listen to an hour-long item and only get one little tiny niblet here and there. But all of that, I just want to share with you guys. So the big things are mortar moms. I've talked about that in a couple other videos, but I feel like the mortar moms are so common and so sad. And yes, I have been one. Mortar mom meaning, like, you will do the most, completely mortar yourself for your children, which, yes, of course, we love them so much. We are here for those babies. But mortar mom is like going good mom and then to some super crazy far extreme, to the extent that you're no longer taking care of yourself. There are a couple of amazing feminine energy coaches that I'm obsessed with. The top one right now being Mia Dora. You have to go check her out. But an example that she gives is that she was a Costco mom. Well, I don't have Costco in my area. Actually, I might now, but at the time did not have Costco in my area. And I resonated so heavily with that statement because what is it? Costco mom, in my case, Sam's Club's mom, because we only had Sam's Club, is where you go in, you push in your cart with a billion kids, in my case 4, pushing this cart with 4 kids, and I'm like, ooh, those leggings are kind of cute. I like those socks. I need that coat. I was buying my clothes in Sam's Club. She was talking about buying her clothes, makeup, whatever in Costco. Same concept though, and that's why I resonated so heavily. I'm like, oh yeah, totally did that. And not to say there's anything wrong with it. To be clear, like I had no shame. People would still come up to me and be like, oh, those are such cute jeans. Where did you get those? And I had no shame in saying like, girl, I got these at Sam's Club. They were $16, okay? So I did not have shame in it. And at that season of my life, not a big deal. Like I got convenient clothes. I was not in the nude, okay? I had clothes, but they were definitely from Sam's Club. There was a point where I think I could safely tell you that 70% of what was in my closet was from Sam's Club, which for those of you who don't know is kind of like wholesale Walmart. So, I mean, they weren't bad quality or anything like that. They will carry a couple brands here and there. Just the point of that was the only level of value I saw. Not to shame buying anything from Sam's Club, love Sam's Club. Just to say that it's about the value. Like, I didn't think that I deserved to take time to go shop at the mall or somewhere else. I was just like, okay, this is convenient. I can totally get what I need here at the grocery store while I'm getting the groceries when I have more time for all the kid things, whatever. When my value, my self-value, self-worth started being healed and increasing, I didn't intentionally stop shopping there. I didn't say like, this is the last time. Absolutely not. It gradually phased off where I was gradually able to feel value in myself and understand that it was okay to do things for me too. Not just okay, but great. Because when you get to that place, you can give from overflow. Your babies are able to kind of get the good parts of you, not just all the parts of you. They're getting good energy parts of you versus super tired, cranky mom. Like, I swear kids would rather have a few hours of high energy, upbeat, healthy mom energy than 24 hours of meh. Like, why are we here? This is so draining. I hate it. So it was great for my kids when I started to heal. Great for myself when I started to heal, but one of the ways that I noticed it was certainly snapping out of Sam's Club, Costco mom, whatever. Snapping out of that mentality was huge. Another of the feminine energy, which I think she's more of just a personal relationships coach, but she definitely does talk about feminine energy, that I love to watch, love her book, is Margarita Nazarenko. Look her up too. She's amazing. She's in Australia, which I also think is amazing. Dream location, I diverse. So she gave this wonderful example of her own mom, that a lot of times they didn't really have money growing up, but even if they only had a couple of bucks and were getting those bare mineral, just the bare minimum groceries, things like that her mom would get. I think it was like mangoes and mash it up for like her skin and hair. So even when there wasn't a lot, she was still taking care of herself, and that allowed her to have overflow to take care of her kids too. She also mentioned, I believe it was in her book, but probably on a podcast as well, that she loves kind of nerding out on these things and looking at the science too. And one of the identifiers for a girl, specifically a daughter, having good self-worth and self-value is when her mom does too. Instead of a mom having, say, $40 and going and spending $39.99 on those kids, it's actually better for the child if the mom goes and, say, spends $5 for the kid Happy Meals or whatever it is that they like, and then spends another 12 bucks on a lipstick for herself. So all of that to just say it's about balance. I do not like the moms who are on the opposite end of the spectrum where it's, okay, I've got 40 bucks is going to me, sorry kids. And I don't think any child wants to be the child of the mom who is on that far left extreme. Most moms, that's not the case, but I will say over time, I've seen some selfishness, and it's never an attractive trait to me. Those are not the moms that I want for the mom friends, okay? And I will say there was a time when I was a stay-at-home mom, and so I went to a lot of play groups, co-ops, that kind of thing. And there was such a diverse population in that area. There was, I mean, moms of every color, every kind. There was really a little bit of everything. And I am such a nerd in human psychology and all of that. Totally loved it. I loved it. But I will say, I noticed how there were a couple of moms in particular that would show up glammed out, like lashes before lashes were so readily available. Like this is 15 years ago. So, I mean, lashes done, outfits always so cute and well-intentioned, all of that. And their kids, on the other hand, would be so basic. Like they would be clean usually, but that was it. Like they might even have a hair bow on, but you could tell it was like kid got minimal, mom got all the effort. And I never liked that. I did like that they were still taking care of themselves and things like that, but I didn't like when it went to that extreme where the baby was not looking good too. Oh, hi, Christy. Hi, everyone. I forgot there were comments popping up on the screen. I was just going, okay? But the moms that I resonated really well with were those moms who maybe they didn't like do the most and, you know, have the lashes on or whatever it was, but they were still well taken care of. Happy, like they were awake, they were clean. And sometimes as a mom, like clean, hey, that is top bar. If you can take a shower with a new baby, you're doing great, honey, like for real. But there were moms that were showing up with some efforts, and their kids clearly had effort too. Those were not the kids like, does anyone have a snack? I'm starving. Those are the kids who had already been fed, already had their nap. They were looking cute too. It was a good balance. So those were not mortar moms, but totally saw a lot of the mortar moms too. And it would drain the life out of me sometimes. If you've been to mom play groups, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like the ones who would pop in and have sob story after sob story, not once, but every single week or every single day in a week. Like, oh, I got no sleep. I'm so hungry. I'm so fat. I hate my life. My husband's a jerk. Just constant negative yuck. And it wasn't from a place that they were intentionally doing. It was just the place that they were at. Totally okay, but not a place you want to stay in. Like mortar mom is no fun. At the time, I just knew that I wasn't attracted to that. Those were not the friends that I wanted who could suck my energy dry in 10 minutes. I wanted the ones who were balanced and enjoying and happy and loved being a mom, loved taking care of their babies, and also loved to take care of themselves. Those women were the most attractive women that I wanted as friends because we want to resonate with people who are happy and fun and living and thriving. So those were the people, all right? Those were the ladies. A lot of them I'm still friends with 15 years later, like multiple kids later, moving out of state, moving everywhere, still friends. So that is something to consider if you are a mom, is that friend group you're around makes a big difference. There is an awesome categorization process that I saw in a book recently that categorized people as, what was it? VIP, which is very invigorating people, the people that light you up, get you going, like that you love spending time with, or VDP, which was very draining people, people that drain the life from you, suck the energy. And his recommendation was not that you can avoid all the very draining people because it's life and you can't, but to really make an effort to have a balance there. So if you know you have a Christmas party with a super very draining person, that you also set yourself up with, you know, Christmas lunch with a very invigorating person. So you are intentional about balancing out your time with the people who drain you and the people who light you up that you super enjoy. Sorry, I see some comments in there. Hello, hello, I love y'all. My name is Sammy J. Channel is Hey, it's Sammy J. Just talking some random stuff today, but there was a lot on my mind. And like I said in the beginning, I love to watch lives. I love to catch a good live. I feel like there's always gems and just such authenticity when there is a live. It's not scripted out, like didn't really know what I was gonna come on and talk about, but but I love to watch a good live, so I figured, why not? Why not today? Okay, so here I am. Back to the Martyr Moms. Martyr Moms also, besides potentially draining the crap out of everyone around them, there's a long-term effect of Martyr Moms that I did not grasp until just recently. So I don't want to say exactly who. There's a person in my life who is older, who also has 4 kids, and who I think is a really, really good mom. Like, she is good to her kids. Really, really good to her kids. Like, probably better to her kids than just about anyone that I know. Well, she is textbook Martyr mom. One of the big things that kind of stood out that I made a mental note of and didn't really do anything with, but just made the mental note, was that her babies were always dressed to the nines. I'm talking like suited and booted. I don't care where they were. They were always super clean, dressed to the nines. Whether they had money or they did not have money, you were not going to look at those babies and know it. Not a bad thing, right? But she did not put that same care into herself. That's where the Martyr mom comes in. Sometimes, at first especially, I was like, that's very respectable. Like, if she only had, this amount of dollars, she put all of that into her children. That's respectable. That's great. And at some points in their lives, it probably was. But now, those babies are grown. Those babies are still suited and booted for the most part. Like, they still take good care of themselves, which is wonderful. But even without the babies in the house, the mom still does not take care of herself. There have been a couple moments that I've seen where she actually did something for herself. And if I see it, I'm always like, wow, like, I love that for you, good. It's great. But it's still so minimal. I remember there was a Christmas, and there was something we were talking about for some of the kids that we know that we both gift for. And it was a Nike outfit, or maybe, I don't know, Nike Tech, something Nike. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm getting this. I'm gonna get this color, so don't get that blush. Like, yeah, I don't know, I've never had that before, but it does look really cute. I like it. So of course, like, ding, 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 like, she's getting something similar to that. And she did. And when she opened it, she had a whole look on her face that I could not decipher. And I feel like, I mean, I can't know, it wasn't in her head, but I feel like it was part excitement, but also maybe just the realization of, why am I at this big age and I've never had this before? And it wasn't like, crazy amount of money. It wasn't inexpensive, but it wasn't super expensive either. But it was just like a basic Nike sweat set with socks and all of that. The match was super cute, but I mean, maybe $200 max, something like that. And she's like, I've never had anything Nike before. Not shoes, not clothes, not socks, none of it. Like, whoa. That's a big whoa, because for real, like, those kids were dripped out. I'm telling you, like, who knows how many thousands upon thousands of dollars she had spent on Nike, but never for herself. And in that moment, it was like, okay, I do want to be a great mom. I want to take great care of my kids. I like my kids to look nice. If you know my kids, you already know they're a little bougie up in here. It's what it is. They're a little bougie. Not too bad, but they're a little bougie, especially my son. I don't know what kind of money he thinks I make, but honey, if you saw his Christmas slip, you would get a good giggle, because it's like, baby, like, for real, like, no, mama cannot buy you that. Like, chill out, you're 10. Anywho, I digress. So, Martyr mom aftermath just let me know that that is not where I want to go. I don't want to go the selfish route where I'm one of those moms you see in movies where the kids hate the mom and like, my mom always put herself first and never made time for me. She was only worried about Pilates classes and whatever, her guy of the moment, things like that. So I don't want to go to the selfish extreme. Also, don't want to go the Martyr mom route, because no, like, the aftermath is not good. Her health was not prioritized or taken care of. Self-care, just not even in the equation. Like, we've got this amount of money, and whatever that amount was, 100% was for the kids. Like, there was not haircuts, there was not makeup, there was not any of that. Which at this point, I do think a lot of those things have slowly been integrated, even if they were gifts, things like that, you know, getting nails done here and there, stuff like that. Self-care in general. And I'm a huge proponent of self-care and just being well. Like, wellness is big for me. I have a psychology degree, so I love like the internal mental stuff, but I also am working on a life coaching certificate, and it really blew my mind how big of a deal wellness is across the board at all ages, but especially as we age. So there was a lot that I kind of unpacked and got those aha moments on recently. There are things that I may have read over time, you know, whether it was Bible verses or just things in general that I have heard over time and not really gotten. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, totally get it. Like, that's where I want to fall in. So just something to think about. Mortar Mom, not the route to go. We're doing no more mortar momming in 2025, okay? Like, we are going to take care of ourselves as well as the people we love, because for one, we get to love ourselves, but for two, if we really do love those babies or spouse or who, even if it's your fur babies, if you really do love those around you, the best way that you can take care of them is by starting with taking care of yourself first. Because then you can give from overflow and not from burnt out, obligation only type energy. Nobody wants the obligation only energy. Speaking of which, obligation energy and mothering also goes to one other area that recently my mind has just like, it's like someone just walked in a super dark room and turned the light on for mothering men. So, mothering men is one of those topics that, again, there's not a lot of literature on per se, but the internet has a lot to say. Essentially, just don't mother your man. I'm like, okay, well, like, who wants to mother their man? Like, that just sounds gross. I don't know. And then lo and behold, when that light got turned on, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I have totally done that. There are relationships where I have not, and they had a completely different energy than the ones where I did. So I'm like the perfect guinea pig. Science is here. Mothering energy, also a no-go. Like, no mortar mom, no mothering your man, period. One of the really big things that I kind of realized looking back kind of ties in with mothering your man and feminine energy. There were guys that I was with that I did like little to nothing for. Like, it doesn't sound very nice saying it out loud, but I existed while they existed. I was really busy. I was focused on myself, on bettering my career, on taking good care of my babies, on taking good care of my body. Like, I did not ask questions. I was not worried about where he was because I was so involved in my own stuff during that stage that it just wasn't even, it wasn't on my mind. I was thinking about, okay, I've got work, and I've got this yoga class, I'm taking the kids to this or that, like they have gymnastics, then we're doing this is what we're having for dinner. I did not have time or add time to think about the guy. And those relationships were so easy. Those were not relationships where we like checked each other's location or checked in and stuff like that. Like, it was just, I don't know, it was so easy because I was not focused in on what he was doing. And I was focused on what I was doing. And then he was focusing on what I was doing too. And I really thought that was just the recipe in life, to be honest. I thought that I just got to exist, and whatever man I was with just was like so interested in my existence that he would just, show up, be there, and enjoy. Well, not always the case. I've also been on the other end of that spectrum where there was one guy in particular, who I did the most. Like, his best friend worded it as, which I do not like this phrase, but it doesn't make it not accurate because it's accurate. He would say, "Oh my God, like your girl love your dirty draws." He would always say that. And I'm like, no, I don't. But I totally get what he was saying. That like, no matter what this guy did, I was doing the most. Like if he was, stopping by, something like that, I wanted that house perfect. I wanted his favorite drink out. I had this cute little tray and I would have like his favorite drink, his favorite snack, sometimes like a sweet little card if I wasn't gonna be there yet, or just whatever. Before we lived in the same area, I would send him like these cute little cards, or I might send him something on Amazon, or just like something to brighten his day. I just did the absolute most. And it was masculine energy. Didn't know that. I was no longer in feminine calm. I was chasing. I was playing a little sperm and just chasing that man, okay? Like, not cute. Didn't know what I didn't know. But that energy led me to a completely different relationship vibe than the one where I was just chilling, worrying about myself, and he was worried about me too. Well, when I was worrying so much about this man, guess who the man was worrying about? It was not me. It was himself. I think it like subconsciously made him think, oh my gosh, I'm so amazing. I'm so worthy of all of this stuff. Like, I am the ish, okay? I'm amazing. It pumped him up where he's like, okay, well, clearly she sees something I don't, and I am so deserving of all of this. So kind of like Martyr Mom, it escalated into like Martyr Mom Wife edition, or I don't know, but it escalated. So the little cute stuff at first when there was all like the warm and fuzzies, I felt good about that. I'm like, oh, I am the best girlfriend. Like, I am doing the most. I'm showing attention. I'm showing up. Like, I thought I was doing good, okay? But that feeling did not last. And then it led to feelings of resentment. And it also led to just not having the energy level that I was used to in those other relationships. Because in the others, I had to exert very little energy for those men, and I got to have most of my energy on myself. So I felt good. I looked good. I stayed in the gym. I just stayed on my stuff. Like, I did not need to get ready because, honey, I was already ready. Well, in this relationship, I used all my energy on him. So it got to a point where it was just like, I was tired, for real. Like, I was tired. And then as I was tired and like working a long day and bringing him his plate of food, it hit me that like we just both worked, and I actually worked a little more and had like an hour drive home. Like, this should be flip-flop. Like, I should be on the one with my feet up right now. Someone should be handing me a plate of food. Why am I doing this? And it was just like one of those aha moments in life that once you know, you like cannot unknow. Like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Like, he's getting like king treatment over here and I'm getting nothing. Like, what am I getting for this? He does not love me more because I am treating him great. He loves himself more because I'm treating him great. He like is starting to feel like he is just king stuff because I'm treating him like he's king stuff. Not to say that you should not treat your man well. Of course, treat your man well, but don't treat them better than they're treating you. And don't exhaust yourself just to make sure they're good, because they would not do the same. That was one of the other like big aha moments, is when you do so much for people, it's natural to assume that they also want to do so much for you. Normally not the case. I will say women are more likely to reciprocate than men are. A woman, if you go all out for her birthday, for example, she's going to remember that, cherish that, appreciate that like so much. Your best friend is gonna be like, oh my gosh, remember for my birthday 10 years ago when you did this, and this, you made me feel so special. Like, they're gonna remember that, and they are going to not necessarily like try to outdo it, but they're gonna show up for you too. Like, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, you showed up for me big. Like, I'm gonna show up for you too, girl. Like, it's just a natural exchange with women. The same way that we speak to one another, like we can go deep. We get that spiritual connection. With men, it does not translate the same. Fortunately, unfortunately, don't know, but it does not translate the same. So with a man, you could do the most for his birthday and he could totally forget yours. Like, it's not cute. It sucks, but it's real. They might remember, like, oh yeah, I had this girlfriend once and she like threw this amazing surprise party for me and had it all planned, had all my friends there and stuff. Like, oh, what was her name again? Yeah, seriously. 10 years, look at the timeline, 10 years, that friend is like, oh, I remember when oh, it was so amazing. They remember every little detail. Love you for it. Men don't love you for it. They just love themselves. Like, yeah, that was a good birthday. I'm ish. I'm so cool. Like, oh yeah, girls should be doing that stuff for me. Just a whole different vibe. So don't waste your energy. Again, be good to your man, your husband, whatever. Oh, hi, Didi. How are you? Thank you. Glad you're here. You know how shy I am. So getting on here is big. So thank you for joining. But yes, men do not appreciate the same way that women do. It's just what it is. But once you let yourself hear that and let yourself hear those examples, I do think it's easier to pull yourself back. Everything on feminine energy is going to say, lean back, sit back. And you hear that over and over. If you're online anywhere, you cannot avoid the content on feminine energy, on black cat energy, on all the trending topics. Like, even if you're not a social media person, all I have is YouTube. So I don't hear it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I don't hear it anywhere else. But I'm telling you, the amount of times that I hear it, even if it's, you know, a short that runs into another short, like, there is so much content out there about feminine energy. And I am so glad. There is so much good stuff that needs to be injected into our brains to get us into a happier, healthier state of being. So we need this info. Like, somebody's got to be the big sis here and tell us the info. Again, that's why some of those feminine energy creators have blown up. Like, people need it. And when they get just a little taste of it, they're like, oh my gosh, like, tell me more, sis. I need more. It's one of those things. You can't receive it until you're ready for it. But if you start getting little bit by bit, you get more and more ready for it. And all of a sudden, it starts like seeping into your mind. It seeps into your thoughts, your subconscious, and you can show up an entirely different way. It might shift you in a couple of months, might shift you in a week, it might shift you overnight. Like, some of this stuff is just, it's crazy what it can do. And the two concepts talked about, if you missed them, go back and rewatch. But Martyr Mom and Mothering Your Man, like, those are two of the things I wish there was more on. If you find more, tag me, link me. If you're a content creator, like, send it my way because I want to see it. I am obsessed with learning all of these things because I have 3 daughters. I don't want them to go through years and years of wasting their time and depleting their energy for stuff that is common knowledge to some. Like, the few have this information. Kind of like back in the day, the wealthy knew all about the 401ks and the trusts and all of that stuff that the rest of the population had no idea about. So, like, the rich got richer. Well, in this topic area, I feel like the ones that really have cracked the codes with feminine energy is the happy getting happier. Like, they have the sauce, they know the information. So when you find the people, whether it's online or in real life, that have even a little of the sauce, but especially the ones who have clearly cracked the codes, like, follow them, bookmark them, find them, and learn from them. Because what's amazing is most of these women are at a really good level of, I don't know the correct word here. Like, they're at a state where they are not stingy with the info. They probably scratched and climbed their way up that same mountain, and now they're like leaning backward, like pulling other ladies up too. Most of the women that have reached this high state of like self-actualization, as Maslow's theory calls it. But the ones who have really fine-tuned into this tend to be more than willing to share this information because they know it's not out there. It's not everywhere. You can't go on Amazon and order a book that says, here it is, here's all the keys. There are actually a couple books out there now. I will say there are a few items, but most of them are just from, I feel like, those very starting stages. So they're compiling whatever little fragments that they can get and grasp and starting the book, which, I mean, it is what it is. There are fragments, but I feel like had some of those authors of the things I've read so far anyway, waited 2 years, they would really have a good, solid amount of content for a really strong book. Not just, oh, here's your starting point. Here's a little bit, here's a teaser, but not that full unlocked area. I will say that Margarita Nazarenko book, I believe it's called Being Her. It's like a hot pink cover, super good. I will say she had a ton of wealth in there, and she's probably around my age. She definitely has some life experience and things as well. She doesn't go into the Martyr Mom stuff in the same, I guess in the same like verbiage as I do, but she speaks of it as well. Her children are a lot younger than mine, like I think maybe like 1 and 3, 1 and 4, something like that. So some of the other mothering parts she definitely talked about with her own mom, and she keeps herself together and finds that balance. So I think she's mastered like no mortar mom. Like she's gorgeous, she's like lit up, she's in there, okay? But with the mothering your man stuff, she has been married a really long time. And she had some really valuable information, I felt like, on if this man is, 35 years old when you meet him, he has been functioning by himself for 35 years. So you jumping in and fixing him or like being his assistant is not going to up-level his life. And I read that way too late because, again, in that one relationship where I did the most, I hate to even say this out loud, but I like scheduled his doctor's appointments, his kids' stuff, all the laundry, folding, the organization. Even before we lived together, like there was one day I remember where I like cleaned all his stuff and organized it and had it all pretty, and it's like, oh, I'm so helpful, like this is gonna make him love me. Like it may make you more convenient and comfortable, and they may appreciate it, like, oh yeah, my room looks good, my house looks good, whatever. But that's not what a man is actually after in a long-term relationship, unless they're just one of those people who are the energy suckers where they're gonna take and take and take and take as long as you are dosing out giving, and those are not the men you want anyway. But I do think Margarita had some really good info on if he has existed this long without you doing all the things for him, now is not the time. Like, be busy focusing on your own stuff. And that is really like overall message, focus on your own stuff. That is one of the keys to being happier, because that's how you get fulfilled. No other person is going to come along and fulfill you. If you are still looking at it as like, I am half piece, he is half piece, when we come together I will be whole. And no ma'am, you are whole, you are complete right as you are. Think of it as you are a cake, like you are a beautiful cake, and you don't really need the icing because you're already sweet as hell. Like you are sweet, you are good, you have good ingredients that you chose yourself, put into this perfect cake that you made. But the guy is icing on the cake. Or, I don't know, whatever drink that you drink with cake, is it milk? Punch? I don't know. But if you're able to sit back a little and just look at it from the view that you really are complete, like you were born one of one, you were born you. So you have you from birth to death. Like you may have one man, you may have, I don't know how many, you will have many, or at least a couple men throughout the course of your life. And there are no guarantees on those men. Even if it is your husband, there are no guarantees on those men. Those men may come for a season and they may go. They may be gone, and you don't want to have invested so much of your magical, wonderful energy on something temporary. Of course, invest in love and all of that. I'm not saying to approach from a place of fear, because no, do not approach from a place of fear either. But don't exert all your energy into everything but you, whether that's kids or your man. Make sure that you are filling your own cup so that you can fill the cups of others. When you are feeling good, whether that is from a workout that got you juiced up, excited, energy will bring you more energy. So weird how that works, but it's a real thing. Like, if you are feeling great about yourself, whether it's from your workout, from the amazing book that you're reading, from book club with your girls, from a class, from the amazing hike you just went on, whatever it is, you went and got your nails done, whatever it is that you like to do that really makes you feel good, if you make sure you're getting that across the board as a mom, as a wife, as a girlfriend, as a woman, if you make sure that you are getting those things, you are sure to show up happier. And if you are feeling in a funk, and a lot of people seem to be doing that around the holidays, if you're feeling a little funky, you're probably just not getting enough of what you need. That may be on different facets. Like, you may not be getting the vitamins that you need, you may not be getting the nutrients. Now, did I break it? I don't know how this works. I'm sorry, guys. So if you are not getting what you need, you really can't give your best self to you or to the other people around you. But if you find ways to schedule that in and prioritize that, make it just as important to take care of you as you do to take care of everybody else, your happiness and your wellness are going to go up. Like, you can't fight it. It's inevitable. If you're taking care of yourself and showing yourself, your mind, hey, I am important, I have value, I matter, I need to take care of me, your mind is going to believe that. You can rewire any old programming in there that says you don't matter by showing up for yourself and saying, yes, I do. I deserve this workout time. This is a date with myself. I deserve getting my nails done. Like, it's okay to be cute. Whatever that is for you, whatever you are lacking, it is okay to ask yourself, what do I need right now? Like, what would really make me feel good? And give yourself exactly that. It is okay to do it with no shame. No more Martyr Moms. No more mothering men. If they can do it for themselves, let them. Like, let it be okay. If they can do their own laundry, it's okay if you let them. Like, tell them I said it. Like, hey, Sammy J said that I don't have to do your laundry anymore, or play maid anymore, or be your assistant anymore, because I have my own things to work on, okay? It will flip the script. It will give you some polarity. It will let you, most importantly, feel good and feel well. Well, those of you who have been around know the channel is all about growing up and glowing up, because, I mean, why not? Who doesn't want to glow? Who doesn't want to grow? If you're here, you probably do. I do too, so it's not stopping here. Every time I hit some new level, I always want more. Like, there's always more healing that can be done. There's always new things, new technologies, new books, new information available. So let my bookworming be to your advantage. Let me show you the books, the tactics, the things that you need to know. Let me show you some of that. I definitely love feedback. So if you have any feedback, feel free to put it in the comments. If you have questions, drop them down there too. Make sure you are subscribed, because now that I have gotten over the hump and went live, you'll probably see more of me on live too. So happy holidays. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to glow. Bye, guys.